we move on to do a full reaction of today's Champions League fixtures. We'll start off with the early games. Actually, I believe there was only one early game, I believe. But that don't matter. We start off with Brest Leverkusen. Good result from Brest. They got a 1-1 draw with Leverkusen, playing this game at the Stade de Rodero. We know what Bayern Leverkusen is capable of. They've had a really good start to their campaign so far. Leverkusen in their first 2 games, 2 wins from 2, going away to Feyenoord and getting a big win as well. Leverkusen, we know the quality that they have. And, they got not done, but, it was a stalemate affair. And I do have to say there was periods that Brest played some pretty good football. And, 7 points from 3 is a really good start from Brest. I do have to say, really, really impressive start. So, kudos to them. Man, the woes continue. Leipzig, this is a team, RB Leipzig, that came in as a pot 1 team. A pot 1 team, which is almost prestigious because, pot 1 teams, it's all the big name, big clubs. The pot 1 teams, you're playing you're looked at as one of the top teams. You're not having to play, many of the top teams if you're the pot 1 team. But guess what? Despite being a pot 1 team, Leipzig are currently, after 3 match days, sitting 20 or 34th in the no, they're not sitting 34th. I'm sorry. They are sitting. They're sitting 31st. I'm right. They are sitting 31st in the Champions League after 3 match days, with no wins, no draws, 3 losses, -3 goal differential. And they lost this one against Liverpool, which obviously losing to Liverpool is not something to be. It's not something to be embarrassed about. We know what Liverpool has been this season. Probably been the hottest team so far in the world besides Barcelona so far this season, or probably both them and Barcelona. Honestly, Liverpool has probably been hotter because Barcelona did have that bad result to Monaco in the Champions League. Liverpool has been perfect. They have had only 1 loss all season in all competitions, in Champions League and Premier League. So really good win for them. Really good win from them. They've been looking good in this Champions League. They're still perfect. Took advantage of a Nunez goal in the 27th minute. Darwin Nunez doesn't get much start. Haven't gotten much starts this season, but he took advantage of that. Of that opportunity with the goal that ended up being the winner. Jota, he was ruled out because of an injury, so Nunez slotted in. And then he poked in an opportunity created from Mohamed Salah through a header. And now this is Liverpool's 6th away win out of the 6 games that they've played in all competition this season. That is ridiculously amazing. Liverpool are really, really good team as well. They're sitting, top in the Premier League. They're ranked top. Them and Aston Villa are the only 2 teams that are perfect so far in the Champions League. Aston Villa has 1 goal differential advantage over them. But Liverpool, brilliant team. City defeats Sparta Praha 3-1. 5-0. I expected this game to be exactly what it was. I expected players like Matinho and Nunez to start. I thought this was a game he was going to start in. There was still some important players involved in this game. Erling Haaland, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden. But City had an opportunity to give rest to important players as well, like Vardiol, Ederson, Kovacic, Ruben Diaz in this one. And they got 5-0. Everyone is talking about that Erling Haaland goal. It's ridiculous, but bro, Erling Haaland is a freak of nature. Nothing he does surprises me. That goal was absolutely ridiculous, I do have to say. Out of this world. When Guardiola says after the game that, this is not a goal that a human scores. I mean, bro. It's just crazy, and it was a kung fu kick backwards almost. Um, and now Erling Haaland is ridiculous. I think he's on pace to get 7,000 goals this season. What is he currently sitting at? So he has. What is he currently sitting at? Actually, he has 10 goals in 8 games so far in the Premier League, and then he has 3 goals in 3 games in the Champions League. So he has 13 goals in 11 games. A little bit over a goal a game, more than a goal a game. Yeah, that's just insane. That is ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. But he's a freak. He's not a human. Obviously, we talked about Barcelona beating Bayern. We're going to hold off on the Atletico Madrid little game. Dinamo Zagreb, Salzburg, two teams that came in relatively poor position. It was important for any of these two teams to get the result. It was Dinamo Zagreb that ends up getting the win, which lifts them to the 22nd. Now with their first win, they have 4 points over 3 games. So a really good win for them. Feyenoord, surprised about this one. Feyenoord getting the 3-1 win over Benfica. Benfica had a huge opportunity in this one, going up against a Feyenoord team that I thought Benfica could take advantage of, but it's Feyenoord that gets to the win, and a big win for them because now they're sitting on 6 points, despite that dumping that they suffered in their opening game of the Champions League 2. Feyenoord, since then they've went on to win 2, so really good response to them. Really good response to them from that opening day disappointment to Leverkusen. Inter, late win over Young Boys. I do have to say I was surprised that it took Inter Milan it took them as long as it did, but they were able to finally break them down. Inter Milan, we know the quality that Inter Milan has, what they've done. Haven't had the best start to their season. Had a lot of important players on the bench like Bastoni, Di Marco, Lautaro Martinez, Marcus Thuram, and it was those players did make a difference though coming off the bench, and it was Thuram getting the winner, and important one for Inter Milan as well because they're one of those teams that really want to make sure that they're in that top 8 and don't have to play that unnecessary game in January. They have a lot to play for in domestic competition. They have the quality to be in that top 8, so good win for them. They're sitting 7th, they are sitting 7th place, but that's all based on like tiebreakers and all that. But they're tied for 2nd place. Everybody there's 7 teams that have 7 points after 3 games. Inter happens to be one of those teams, so yeah, really good win for them. It was a late win as well. And the big game that we need to discuss, we need to go in depth on, is this Atletico Madrid Lille game. Wow. Really, I was really surprised at that. I thought, this was a game that Atletico Madrid was going to wrap up in the back, especially when they went up 1-0 early on. I thought, okay, Atletico Madrid, there's no way that they lose this game. There is just absolutely no way that they lose this game. But Jonathan David's double helped Lille with this stunning comeback. They did this, keep in mind, away at the Riyadh Air Metropolitano. Their goalkeeper had a roldie, Lucas Chevalier, who has had has made a lot of key saves. Jonathan David, he actually became the all-time top Canadian scorer in the Champions League now with the 6th goal, passing Thomas Radzinski. The problem with Atletico Madrid, and maybe I should have seen this coming because we've seen this coming in earlier games so far this season as well, in which they've scored early. sometimes they took their feet off. They take their feet off the gas and they don't really go for it in these moments. Now you saw the front three of Griezmann, Sorlas, Julian, Alvarez, which is what we want to see. We want to see all those. We want to see that front three. We want to see that front three get some cohesion and play a lot of games. But you know, even when they're getting these early goals and they're not having to rely late in games with individual moments, they're still, they're still not, and they're not trying to, finish the game in that first half there. They're, it's almost like England at the European Championship. They scored that goal early and then they invite some pressure, especially in that second half. Once Lille started to ratchet up, it didn't seem like Atletico Madrid were able to get out at all. Get out of the press that they were in. Get out of the jail that they were in. And that is a massive loss for Atletico Madrid, I do have to say. Because they've already lost, they got walloped by Benfica away. They are sitting in 27th. They're not even in a position to play in a knockout stage game in January. Play in that play-in or playoff game. They're not even in that position with 3 points from 3 points in 3 games. Only have a -5 goal differential, conceding 8, scoring 3. Atletico Madrid need to figure it out, and quite frankly, they need to figure it out really, really, really fast. Because, man, I was really surprised about that one. I thought that was one of the locks, I have to say. I did not see that coming whatsoever. And, yeah. But, yeah, after 3 games, just do a quick wrap up on the standings. Aston Villa sits top with 9 points from three games. The only other team that's perfect with 9 points from 9 points from 9 is Liverpool, who are sitting second based on tiebreakers and goal differential. They have they both scored 6 goals, but Liverpool allowed a goal against AC Milan. Villa hasn't allowed a single goal, so by tiebreaker they're number 1. There's 7 teams that are tied for that or have the same amount of points at 7 points. They all, in general, in theory, are tied for second place because they all have the same amount of points. But goal differential is what differentiates these teams. With City at 3rd, Monaco 4th, Brest 5th, Leverkusen 6th, Inter Milan 7, Sporting Lisbon 8, and Arsenal 9. Now these next 7 teams all sit on 6 points. Obviously, goal differential separating them. Barcelona sitting in 10th, Dortmund 11th, Madrid in 12th, Benfica in 13, Juventus in 14, Lille in 15. Lille in 15, and Feyenoord in 16. Atalanta, they're sitting. Oh, that's also a game I didn't cover actually. Atlanta and Celtic. That game finished 0-0. I was surprised. I'm not gonna lie. I was really surprised at that result. That scoreline finished 0-0. I thought Celtic would struggle going into Atlanta, going into Bergamo, and they were Atlanta were the more protagonists in this one. But I thought Celtic had more balance, showed their willingness to defend and understand the quality that they have. And Brendan Rodgers did go in close shop. Good for them because that's a good result. So yeah, Atlanta currently sitting in 17th with 5 points. Then now again tiebreakers. The next 4 teams are sitting on 4 points, or the next 5 teams they're all sitting on 4 points. Goal differential separating them. Stuttgart in 18th, PSG in 19th, Celtics in 20, Sparta Praha in 21, Zagreb in 22. And then these next teams are sitting in 3 points. Wow, I didn't notice this. Bayern Munich, they did lose to Aston Villa, now losing to Barcelona. They're sitting on 3 points after 3 games. That is a pretty bad start, and now the pressure will rack up on Vincent Kompany. They're 23rd. Wow. Girona 24th. AC Milan is 25th, who also had a poor start. By the way, 25th is the cutoff. You don't even get a chance to be in the playoff once you're 25th and below. Club Brugge in 26th. Atletico Madrid is 27th. With the thumping that they suffered to Benfica last week, now this loss to Lille, they're sitting in 27th. In 28th is PSV with 2 points. Now there's only two teams that have 1 point after these 3 games. Bologna, new team playing in the Champions League, they're sitting 29th. Shakhtar Donetsk, they're in 30th. Now these are the teams that all have 0 points. They haven't gotten a single point so far. Leipzig, who came in as a pot 1 team, horrible start from them, 31st. Sturm Graz 32, Crvena 33, RB Salzburg 34, Young Boys 35, and Slovan Bratislava 26.